Happy first day of Lunar New Year. Today is February 2nd, Wednesday. For our top stories, officials recommend small Lunar New Year celebrations in 2022. Mongolia's epic songs can have up to several thousand lines. Mongolian scholar who works at the Library of Congress. For other news, stay tuned. Today, Mongolians are celebrating the first day of Tsagasar, the Lunar New Year. It's a special time of the year when, much like Christmas or Thanksgiving, families set their tables with delicious traditional food for a large gathering of family. In 2022, due to another year of the COVID-19 pandemic, state officials advise against large gatherings for the celebration of Tsagasar.
During a recent cabinet session, state celebrations of Tsagasar have been banned to prevent COVID-19 transmission. Prime Minister Erdogan has decided to skip the state Zolgalt ceremony, a traditional holiday greeting, in support of efforts to prevent infection. The number of COVID-19 cases in Mongolia, which was steadily dropping in November, drastically increased after the New Year holiday, when many people traveled to visit friends and family. The Ministry of Health and related authorities have warned that a fourth wave of COVID-19, driven by the Omicron variant, will peak in February, which is an issue of concern for local emergency commissions regarding the pressure that will be placed on healthcare services. Following instructions from the National Emergency Commission and medical teams, the government of Mongolia decided not to hold official Tsagasar celebrations and are urging people to keep their own celebrations to a minimum. Although private Tsagasar gatherings are not banned, the public is advised to avoid large gatherings to prevent the spread of the Omicron variant.
Now we have a story about a herder who is raising yaks in high-altitude mountainous area. In 2012, he became the first to have a herd of 1,500 yaks. Now, 10 years later, his herd has grown and reached 2,000. Let's take a look at the details. Mr. Dorchsurung has been herding yaks since he was a boy. He is in his 60s now. He says yak herding requires long-term diligence. Back in 1992, when privatization was allowed by the democratic government, Dorchsurung was herding less than 30 livestock. His herd mostly consisted of sheep and goats. Later on, he reduced the number of small animals and focused entirely on raising yak.
Around the age of 11, I started herding livestock. It's been 52 years since then. In 2012, we celebrated our number of yaks reaching 1,500. In 2021, the number increased to 2,000.
Yak is a domestic animal that has adapted to living in cold, mountainous areas. To develop his herd, Dorchsurung lives in the mountainous region of Arhanga province. Herding yak is not an easy task, but these animals can be profitable for herders. At the end of 2021, Dorchsurung received the title of Labor Hero of Mongolia for his successes as a herder. In addition to successfully raising a herd of 2,000, he has profound knowledge of nomadic herding practices and trains future generations of herders.
I give advice to young herders. Some of them have already become the best herders in the region.
Yak is a delicate animal that eats only certain kinds of grass and has a low fertility rate. Herds spend the winter months in the mountain wilderness. Tuul Mongolian epic songs are considered a significant genre of Mongolia's intangible heritage. Scholars say that only 200 epic songs have been reserved today. We talked to Mongolian studies scholars and an epic song singer to learn more about this wonderful heritage. This is Batarchao, a Mongolian Tuul singer. Before singing an epic song, the singer offers a tribute to Mother Nature as a sign of respect for all creatures. People say that an epic singer lives from the infinity to another. Batarchao says that only a few epic singers know these customs and traditions nowadays.
We differentiate different generations of Tuul singers by their place of origin. For example, singers from Alta Oranja are considered singers of the 4th generation, while those from Bayalta to the south in Hojurt are considered 9th and 10th generation. Our Uraha people have two different techniques for singing, the Horjung and Shahmal vocal methods. These two different methods allow us to sing for a long time.
Mongolian epic songs are about the daily lives of nomadic people. The songs that are sung during difficult times, such as war, a pandemic, or natural disaster, are different from songs sung during calm, peaceful times. Singers call these two groups of songs severe epics and soft epics. Soft epics include songs such as Bayan Tsagaan Ugun and Aril Tsagaan Ugun. Mongolian studies researchers note that some epic songs should be sung according to strict etiquette and rituals.
Some severe songs were supposed to be sung in a gear without a fire and with the ton, the oil-shaped crown of the wooden structure of the Mongolian gear closed. This is an example of the strict and unique rituals followed during epic song singing. Few nations have an intangible heritage like epic songs, fewer than 10. Mongolia is one of the major representatives of Tol culture. As we look back on history, epic song singing is preserved in two types of countries. One is countries with ancient civilizations, and the other is countries that were empires in the past. I know a man who promotes this culture to the younger generation in North Province. I think a special program should be implemented to preserve and promote this ancient culture.
Scholars say there were 500 to 700 Mongolian epic songs. However, only around 200 have been preserved and are known today. These songs depict many aspects of nomadic life, including shamanism, animism, religion, and the nomadic way of life, and can contain a few hundred to several thousand lines. Scholars note that epic songs are an example of the strength and authenticity of Mongolian culture and traditions. More than 27,000 Mongolians are currently residing in the United States. Our following report is about a Mongolian teacher in the United States who teaches researchers the Mongolian language.
I first came to the United States in 2002 and started working as a foreign lecturer at the University of Indiana. Now I work as librarian in the Mongolian language and literature section of the Library of Congress.
He says Mongolian language and culture should be taught in every country Mongolian children are growing up in. He considers the language important to the nation's cultural immunity and with the support of his friends opened a Mongolian Language and Culture Center in the United States.
In the beginning it was difficult to attract students, so I asked my Mongolian friends to enroll their kids. But after some time passed, other Mongolians started enrolling their children, becoming concerned that they were forgetting the Mongolian language growing up in the US. I think Sarol Erden is doing important work promoting Mongolian studies in one of the world's biggest countries at an important institution near the State Department. He's doing a great job. Every year, a Mongolian Studies Conference is organized in Washington, D.C. In the beginning, only 20 to 30 researchers took part in the conference. Now it's becoming widely acknowledged and has become one of the biggest events for Mongolis and researchers. As the younger people are becoming less aware of their language and culture, we are concerned that they might become foreigners with only Mongolian ethnic origins.
One of Sarol Erden's recent projects is related to the discovery of books at the Library of Congress that were written in Mongolian script. One of the books is of poems about the United States, written entirely in Mongolian script by an unknown author.
As there were no librarians who could read old Mongolian script, no one knew there were such books stored. Currently, I'm working on the translation and research of that book. Another book is a collection of poems written in the 1960s. As far as we know, there were 3 Mongolians living in the US at the time, Diloba Hutucht, Gompchao, and Anu Urgungal. After some study, we concluded that the poems were written by Anu Urgungal.
Aside from teaching Mongolian culture and language, Sarol Erden has written several books, including Interesting Philology and Our Compatriots Abroad. He has also translated several books. He actively works on promoting Mongolian culture and language among foreign scholars and second and third generation Mongolians living in the United States.
There is a common misconception among Mongolians that vegetables grow only in soil. However, there are cases when this notion is not the case at all, and vegetables are successfully grown in soilless areas. Let's see now and where you can grow vegetables wherever you want.
манай Монгол оронд түгээмэл тархацтай байдаг.
Cotton is extracted from a common rock called basalt, which is used as an insulation material. In other words, there is a factory in Mongolia that is replacing imported products. In addition, there is an example of growing vegetables on cotton extracted from rocks. It can be conveniently placed in a 2 to 3 room apartment or a corner, used as a decoration and prepare vegetables. Is it right?
Гэрт нэг 2-3 өрөө байранд ч юм тий.
За тасалгааныхаа нөхцөлд одоо галтгоондоо ингээд та энд хүрэмжиг.
In the indoor environment, we place this utensil in the kitchen and allow people to grow and eat their favorite vegetables. Because rock wool is melted at high temperatures, rock wool does not contain any chemicals that can adversely affect human health. Because it is 100% natural, it allows people to harvest and eat fresh crops every day without any adverse effects on their health. Growing vegetables in black soil pollute the environment. However, cotton is not dirty to use and is advantageous technology that greatly facilitates human activities. People often ask about the use of chemicals such as plant fertilizer. So the plant nutrients used here take the chemical elements from the soil and feed the plants, so there are no side effects. It means that the beneficial elements are dissolved in water. Then, just like in the soil, plants get their nutrients through their roots. Therefore, it is a technology for those who grow vegetables in greenhouses for industrial purposes. We assembled it ourselves. In addition, it is possible to grow all kinds of vegetables such as tomatoes and leafy salads. Last summer, we planted and harvested in this greenhouse. We did our first experiment by studying the fact that a greenhouse does not have to be far from the city and that it can be grown indoors, close to our customers. This is the first experiment of cultivation done by us. It has been tried before in Mongolia. What was lost was that the water irrigation that could not be solved by a circulating system, and the water became foul within 1 or 2 days because the water became stagnant. If the water is renewed and mobilized for 1 hour and 30 minutes, the plants will receive all necessary nutrition.
In our next report, we will put a spotlight on a kindergarten teacher who works with children with special needs for 30 years. Meet Oyun Chimik. She says the best part of her job is being like a parent to children.
Close your eyes. Good. I will remove one picture. Then you tell me which one is missing. Now open your eyes. Which picture is missing? You're right. The bird isn't here. From the outside, these children look disabled, but their mental capacity is totally normal. With adequate educational resources and tools, we can help them learn and develop. They're even able to study at normal schools and kindergartens.
Oyun Chimik says building confidence in children is the most important thing. Children develop quickly when they realize their own abilities. They realize, oh, I've done it, I can do this.
The hardest part for children with special needs is not their disability. Instead, a hostile living environment is a major challenge for them.
According to Oyun Chimik, teachers working with special needs children should be like a parent or close friend. She and her team work with open hearts to help children, and it makes them happy to see these children do well in the future. That's what she is most proud of. Around 260 children with special needs go to Mongolian kindergartens each year. Currently, there are only 2 kindergartens in the country that are designed to serve children with special needs. Here comes the weather forecast for the world's major cities. You have watched the Wednesday edition of News Mongolia. Thanks for staying with us. We'll see you again with more news updates. Have a nice holiday.